Manus Island, Papua New Guinea, a place where tranquility and trauma coexist.
We felt we are just thrown inside these cages, just like animals, and we are just locked in there. That's it.
They went in search of freedom and landed in a very special kind of hell.
As soon as I stepped on their land, I knew that I would be tortured.
Then fate saw them released on the far side of the world.
I'm here, I'm free, I'm loved. So it's home. It definitely feels like a home.
New beginnings with new challenges. Tonight, we join two men on their extraordinary odyssey towards the promised land.
I think that's our boat. Thomas, morning.
Yeah, morning.
How are you? I'm Eric.
Hello, Eric.
Nice to meet you. This is Amir and Imran.
Getting on a boat is what put these young men on Manus Island. Today, we're going to take them off it.
Good stuff.
This is the beginning of my journey with 24-year-old Amir Taghinia, a Christian convert from Iran, and Imran Mohammed, aged 23, a minority Rohingya who's fled persecution in Myanmar. After 4 years in detention, they're now permitted to move around Manus. The controversial detention centre is being closed down. Now, the island is their prison. But there's one other spot the refugees can visit.
This island belongs to a guy called Robin, and then he saw the guys once in the town and told them, you know, if you want to have somewhere to have a little bit of peace, you can just come in here and relax, you know, nobody's gonna disturb you here.
Mandalin Atoll, just off Manus, is where the refugees see a different side to PNG. The island's custodian lets asylum seekers stay here for free. He says losing his arm in a fishing accident has taught him to be sympathetic.
When they come over to me, I do welcome them, you know. I like them, they like me. But because they have problem in the country or so that's why they come over here to my place. That's why I like them.
What are you going to do for the rest of the day?
Most of Imran's experiences on Manus haven't been so positive.
When I entered in the center, I saw people were depressed and people were warehoused and the men were yelling, and I straight away knew this is going to be bad. I'm not here to be processed. I'm here to be tortured.
Imran's odyssey began aged just 16. Escaping persecution in Myanmar for Malaysia, he was in succession held hostage by people smugglers, in immigration detention in Indonesia for almost 2 years, and after a boat trip to Christmas Island, was detained and transported here.
I was treated like animals in many places. I was beaten by authorities. I have experienced things in life that I shouldn't have been in my young life. So it took my, it has destroyed my strength as a human being.
When I converted to Christianity, I was quite a stubborn person, and I like to question things. I always like to question things, and because I was a very young person, I started questioning from the people that I wasn't supposed to do that, and it caused me troubles that I was almost getting killed.
Amir left Iran as a 14-year-old boy to live in Malaysia.
And in our midst, we have a brother, Amir. We are happy to have him with us because he has converted into our group of believers, the Christians.
Fearing he'd be imprisoned after his Malaysian student visa expired, Amir also boarded a people smuggler boat headed for Christmas Island.
I had seen people getting on these boats. I had seen these boats that they were leaky boats. I had seen them looking terrible and terrifying, and I had no options. I had to take it.
By 2013, more than 1,000 asylum seekers had perished at sea, including many aboard this boat, smashed upon the rocks of Christmas Island. Amir and Imran arrived safely here after this tragedy, but in one sense, their timing couldn't have been worse. Landing just after the Labor government declared that all future boat arrivals would never be settled in Australia. They joined 1,300 other single men on Manus, crammed into a centre that previously housed 350.
The compounds were just like a chicken house, and they would throw people in there and they would lock these doors. Chains, locks, fences everywhere, and all of them are guarded. You can't leave, you can't go anywhere. Anywhere you want to go, you have to be escorted.
Another detainee secretly filmed Amir for this guided tour of life on the inside.
You see most of, everyone has covered their beds, because one of the most important pressure on people is because of the crampedness, because of too many people together.
Over 4 years, Amir witnessed riots, beatings, and a shooting attack by drunken soldiers.
We saw people dying. We saw people scrolling on the ground for pain. I've seen people pulling out their own teeth. I've seen people cutting their necks and many other things. Just these 4 years was always a great trauma that I can never forget it.
The only way out was a ticket to the homelands they'd fled, or resettlement in PNG. But behind the scenes, an unusual refugee deal was being brokered. In 2016, the US agreed to resettle up to 1,200 asylum seekers from Manus and Nauru in America. It's nearly 6 months since I met Amir and Imran. Despite President Trump's reluctance, the US refugee deal is still underway, but the details are opaque. Small groups of men are being flown from Manus to PNG's capital Port Moresby. Some nationalities, Iranians and Somalis, are rejected, but for the lucky ones, there's a new life in America. And we get a tip-off that Imran may be among them. The men are taken to a motel under heavy guard. Australian Border Force officers have told PNG security not to let us film.
Can you shut that thing up, please?
Why?
We're not allowed to take pictures here.
Why not?
As per the instructions from ABG, please pass him.
Excuse me, please don't touch my
hold on.
camera. That's
no,
assault.
Don't put the
touch
camera
the
on my face anyway. Don't put the camera on my face, okay?
We eventually confirm that Imran is here. And finally, after 6 long months waiting in Port Moresby, a decision. This time, there are no guards or handcuffs. This time, Imran won't be flying as a prisoner.
I'm going to have my real freedom soon, and I will have control over my life. So it's very exciting.
He doesn't quite believe it until the boarding pass is in his hands. Destination, America.
Okay. See you in the US. See you in the US. Yeah, okay. Safe travels.
It's autumn in Canada, and on the Vancouver waterfront, residents embrace the vivid change of season. This place was never in any resettlement plan, and I'm surprised to be here. But of the 1,300 men on Manus, one's tenacity and good luck has meant he's managed to buck the system.
Hey, Eric. Mate, long time. How are you? Nice to see you, man.
After a secretive application process, Amir was granted protection in Canada.
So this is where I am living now.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I call it an elf house.
On Manus, through force of personality and a good command of English, Amir became a de facto leader. In Canada, there's anonymity and a job at a local tourist attraction.
I was on Manus Island and I had like 1,500 people just running after me, wanting updates, wanting to know what's the news, wanting to know when they get out of there, wanted me to do stuff with it. But in here, all of a sudden, it's just like, boom, there's nobody around and nobody asking me anything. Yeah, but you will like this one. You just want to smell the tea.
It smells good.
Yeah. Life is different now compared to a place that you basically couldn't call it life. Basically nothing, but now it's a so-called normal life here. Yeah, I just don't know what to say. When I came here, I just felt numb.
Good morning.
Hello! How are you? Oh, it's so good to see you. And you brought goodies from Fratelli. Yes.
It's the first anniversary of Amir's arrival in Vancouver. His remarkable luck in getting to Canada is due to this unlikely group of people. They're all members of a private sponsorship group, an initiative where citizens provide money and support for refugees to resettle in Canada.
Naturally, as we all expected, it was a bit of an uphill battle for the early stages, but we're standing here today and we've got one upstanding citizen of Canada now 1 year later.
Brought together by Canadian-Australian couple Wayne and Linda Taylor, the group raised almost $30,000 to bring Amir from Manus and support his first year in Canada.
Rescue him, and he rescued me from an island which so many governments and so many countries were not able to do. So many systems, so many departments, so many organizations. So I appreciate it and thank you.
Good.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Charles, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
It all started when Amir met Wayne Taylor's daughter Chelsea, a Melbourne-based nurse who worked on Manus vaccinating asylum seekers.
Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, Amir, how are you?
She was adamant, quite honestly, that we do something. And yeah, we were somewhat concerned that we could really achieve anything, having not been through it before, but we just said, well, we'll give it a go.
I talked to them, they were like, it's okay for now.
A semi-retired political consultant, Wayne Taylor was undaunted by the complexities of refugee sponsorship. And so, this well-connected group hit the phones, lobbying politicians and officials to bring Amir to Canada.
Oh, do we all have our party hats?
It's almost inconceivable that these people could be treated the way that they've been treated. Certainly from the people who were part of our group, when they heard that story, felt that it was unfathomable that people could be kept basically as prisoners.
3, 2, 1.
Yes! And another one, and we say, Amir!
Amir's getting on with the life that detention on Manus interrupted.
This is Vancouver Community College, or VCC. This is the first place that I started continuing my education.
Does the judge have to follow what the jury recommends and their verdict?
No. Judges can make their own decisions, but I am planning to take things step by step, but I have been considering human rights law or psychology. I just want to do everything one thing at a time.
While Amir says his conversion to Christianity forced him to leave Iran, he now feels that religion is less important. Today, he makes a rare visit to a church. 2 people from Amir's sponsorship group are members of the Unitarian congregation here.
I like Christianity. This is something that I always was very interested since I was a very young kid. But I would rather say I am not so much into any specific religion.
But this is your reason for getting out of Iran, isn't it?
Yes.
So how does that match up now?
Well, that's one of the things that almost got me into trouble. So, yeah, I do still believe in it. I see it as something that gets me connected.
Amir's new life looks comfortable, but a year after arriving in Canada, he knows happiness isn't guaranteed.
You can be in the worst place on this planet, the worst one that you can say, like, let's say Papua New Guinea, like Manus Island, the worst place, and make it a heaven for yourself. And you can be in the best country on this planet and make it a hell for yourself.
Over the border, in the land of the free, around 500 refugees from Manus and Nauru have been resettled, scattered across the US in cities like Chicago, often with minimal support. They're not the Australian government's responsibility anymore, but many Australian expats here feel compelled to help. Heading into the North Chicago suburbs is fashion designer Fleur Wood. Co-founder of the group Australian Diaspora Steps Up.
I wanted to, step up, and I knew lots of other Australians felt the same way, and wanted to help these guys and kind of do what we should have done in the first place, which is take care of these people.
More than 300 Australians have now volunteered, and they're stretched to the limit.
Look, for some of these guys, it really is terrible. We've had, groups of 3 and 4 guys that are living together and they only had one single mattress. So they are taking turns sleeping on that single mattress. We have guys that arrived in the middle of winter with absolutely no winter clothing, with, thongs and shorts.
This day?
Great, you got it?
Yep, let's do it.
All right.
Today, Fleur teams up with first-time volunteer Nisha Khanna, who left Melbourne to study for an MBA at a Chicago university. Here, the priority is preparing for the savage winter ahead.
So how did you get the money, raise the money to buy these things?
I was crowdsourcing some friends at school.
They're trying to locate a group of 4 Rohingya men recently arrived from detention on Nauru.
Hi. We're looking for someone called Anatala.
Anatala?
Yeah, Rohingya.
Rohingya, another Nayu people? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you're Rohingya.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
You Anatala?
Yeah, Anatala.
Oh, we found him. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nisha.
Rohingya.
You're
Nice
Rohingya
to meet
too.
you.
Nice to meet you. Hi, Anatala. Hello. Did we wake you up? We're sorry.
So I know it gets really cold in Chicago in the winter. So we have some blankets for you. We also have some jackets for you. Because again, when it gets really cold, you've got to wear lots of layers in Chicago. So I got a nice big jacket here. Oh, that's perfect.
Perfect.
Look at you, you look officially like you're from Chicago now.
The 4 men share a 1.5 bedroom apartment, picking up casual work as cafe dishwashers and cleaners at the airport.
Yeah.
Rohingya refugee Anatala still dreams of going to Australia.
So I'm not happy because I'm come here. So that's why I go Australia.
And if he can't get to Australia, Anatala wants to take a drastic option.
So you would rather be in Nauru than be in the US, even though it was hard there?
Yeah.
And did you have like a job in Nauru? Were you working? What were you doing in Nauru?
I don't care job. I care about my life.
Amin also regrets accepting US resettlement. His family is still on Nauru, but is no longer applying to come to the United States.
Before they told me, said they come into US, they come and join with me, going to stay in Chicago. But now, because of a lot of family, Australia government bring a lot of family from Nauru to the Australia, so my family changed their mind.
They're clearly bewildered by their new lives in America.
Okay, do you have any Medicaid now?
No.
Another flatmate, Majubo, is seriously ill, but doesn't know how to get follow-up medical treatment.
Hi, is that Laura? I'm just here visiting a group of these Rohingya guys, and one of them has got a medical issue. He's got a job, but his insurance doesn't kick in for another couple of months. Are you able to help out with a doctor at all?
These men waited 5 years to get out of detention and off Nauru. Resettlement was supposed to bring freedom and a fresh start, but their new lives are bleak and lonely.
I wish to come to Australia to get a better life, but I waste my time on the way in Indonesia or Malaysia. First in Malaysia 1 year, 2 months. 2 months. After that, in Indonesia, nearly 2 years. After Indonesia, I have to waste another 5 years for useless in Nauru.
I don't think anybody can really realise the impact that this has had on these people and the impact that it's going to have on their children and for generations to come, that trauma gets passed down. And I also think the cost to Australia's reputation. You know, Australia definitely is known now for these human rights violations. I've had American people bring that up with me, like, how can Australia treat people like this? You know, it really is a crime.
Not everyone is finding it so desperate. Now, living just around the corner is Imran.
Hey Imran, nice to see you. I'm good, thank you. Nice to see you. How are you?
This is one of Chicago's most multicultural neighbourhoods. And while other Rohingya are overwhelmed by the experience, Imran embraces his new life.
You meet people from everywhere, basically. Americans, Indian, Bengali, Rohingyans. You can see everyone.
So is this different to what you expected?
It's totally different. I didn't expect anything like this. It's very diverse. It's beautiful. You know, there are trees everywhere. I thought there would be no tree, and I found it really amazing. It's very different. We don't wear sari.
Imran has a job at a workshop alongside several other former Manus detainees. But, unlike Imran, they don't want any contact with Australians or the media.
It goes both ways, good and bad. But I am free. That's all that matters to me. I just wanted to be free, and I just wanted to be respected as a human being. And people have been welcoming, and I'm loved. So it's home. It definitely feels like a home.
In a country with 11 million undocumented migrants, where the president wants to build a wall to keep others out, Australia's so-called boat crisis and the government's hardline response have barely registered. But Imran is finding many people are interested in his story.
I'm really pleased to introduce you to a friend of ours who just arrived in May of 2018. His name is Imran Mohammed. He's a Rohingya refugee. Thank you, Imran, for coming to our class.
I didn't expect anything like that from Australia at all. Because I have friends in Australia. They were stateless. They are Rohingya, and they went to Australia and they got a passport. They got a card, and you know, they were telling me that, okay, come to this country. They will respect you as a human being. That's why I wanted to go to Australia. Even when I was leaving Papua New Guinea, one of the custom officers told me that, don't ever come back. But when I came to this country, one of the custom officers told me, welcome to America. Thank you, that's what I wanted to hear.
But Imran is haunted by the memory of 600 men who are not so welcome here. Neither prisoners nor really free, they remain trapped on a distant Pacific island.
I'm here, I'm free, but I still have nightmares. Sometimes I just can't sleep. I am wide awake and just wander around in my apartment. I call my friend's name. They're not here, they're on Manus. Hey, join us. Or hey, Faisal, where are you?
I started covering Manus Island more than 3 years ago, and when I first met these men, I wondered how their stories would end. I never thought it would be here, on the other side of the world, in the suburbs of North America. Some people might think this is a pretty good outcome to what was a diabolical political and social problem. And now they're here, Australia might forget these guys, but they won't forget what Australia did to them, and they might not forgive either.
It can be lonely sometimes, super lonely. It's just, I feel like I'm still there and I hear this daily stuff. It's not ending, it's just keeps happening. It's getting worse and worse. Something that I will always remember it, I will never be able to forget it. Stuff that happened, my friends that they were killed in front of me. This shouldn't have happened ever. And I am sure there is going to be a day that in the future that Australia will feel sorry about what they've done.